So I scroll Reddit so y'all don't have to. And I came across this Reddit thread in the Dating Over 40 subreddit. And, at first I was like, well, let me just read it first. He says, I think I have too high of expectations or standards. I'm 42, never married, but I do have an 18-year-old son. I make 80K a year and I'm in the military part time. I'm 6 foot, 205 pounds, and athletic. I'm half Latino, half white, and women avoid me like the plague. If I get a phone number or get set up by a friend, it goes to before a date is even set. Even when she shows interest initially, I feel like I'm putting off some type of energy or I'm cursed. I'm not very persuasive or smothering when dating or pursuing a woman. I ask once, and if I'm ignored or told no thanks, I let it go. Everything feels really bizarre. Like I said, I feel like something supernatural seems to get in the way of love every time. It makes me question my ambitions, like keeping my difficult job, the military enlistment, working out, and taking care of myself. I feel like I do it for absolutely no reason outside of self improvement. I'm just at a loss with it. Perhaps I'm not as attractive as I think I am. I don't know. Okay, so what I initially saw, he's 42, never married, and he does not yet have the introspection to look inside. He like so many of these people list their height as if it is a personality trait. Like this is some why do they keep doing this? Your height is not your personality. Saying that you're 6 foot and 205 pounds and athletic doesn't say who you are. Nothing about this says anything about him. He doesn't say what his likes are, what he does. That's what I read when and it doesn't seem like he really is showing very much interest in women. I don't know. It doesn't show me anything. And at 42, and he hasn't been successful up to this point, you would think that he would have just a little bit more reflection or change things. But this is what these people do. They just kind of give up. Like he doesn't even really sound like he is trying very hard. Now, other people in the comments notice other things. So I do want to get into some of the comments because at first what I saw was just like, why do these people act like being 6 foot tall is a personality? Okay, so then this person, Nick, says, if this is always happening, then you need to reflect on your interactions and how you're coming across to women. Could you ask a friend to have a look at the messages you've exchanged? And the OP says, that's a really good idea. I think maybe my texts are coming across wrong. You have me thinking maybe I need to make stage two in person or a phone call. And then Nick says, some people, myself included, prefer to text for a bit first. So it'd be really useful to brush up on your texting skills. And then this person below says, I hate texting personally. I'm a bit autistic and tend to take everything literally so much. So I much prefer a setting where there is more context, like a phone call or video chat. So at this point, it's knowing the person that you are dealing with. How do they prefer to communicate? Do they prefer to communicate via text? Do they prefer phone calls? Are they busy? Do they have a job where they can even text? So this is where you start to like really communicate and interact and know a little bit of something about this person. Okay, so here is where a little bit more starts to come in. This person says many women avoid military men. This person says, I'm a vet and I avoid military guys. This person says, yep, I would. I'm terrified of them. Sorry, OP, cops too. And then someone is like, same. And somebody else, I'm terrified of military cops and firemen too. And why? Um, there is a reason why, and I completely forgot. Their DV rates are high. Their divorce rates are high. This is a high stress job and it attracts a certain type of man. This person at the bottom says, I was a public defender for a decade and I know exactly what cops are capable of. But she says firemen are great. So this person says, I hear this all the time that women shouldn't date cops and military men. Why? I have been seeing a sheriff off and on for several years. He is amazing but distant. Any advice? Anything I should know? Somebody says statistically significantly higher rates of DV among other things. Somebody else says, yeah, the stress of the job, firefighters too. Um, so then this person starts talking about the DV, the institutional racism, sexism that goes along with these jobs. And yeah, so this will be something that, maybe some men don't understand why folks are avoiding them. It could be that they lead with the personality trait of being 6 foot tall. It could be their profession that gives them a stereotype. It could be the communication issue. This person says massively higher instances of cheating and DV, sadly. Heard so many stories from folks I know, and the stats back it up, I believe. And then Lizzle said again, other people have answered this with good info. It's been widely reported, studied, that cops have a DV problem as a profession. If you've known him for years and don't sense any violent or controlling behaviors, you should be okay. But always be careful because they are able to cover their stuff up. Many cops have a God complex and are in it to abuse power. That doesn't mean every single one of them is the same way, but it does mean that you need to stay vigilant. And then somebody else says also high alcoholism rates for military, both vets and those currently enlisted. Not sure about police though. This person says no, too many women who've been stalked by their military or cop ex boyfriends. And this person says first responders are high stress jobs, and there's a lot of mental health issues, plus a huge stigma against getting treatment. Google police, um, Google police or militaries unaliving themselves, and you might be surprised at the sheer number each year. It's really sad. And just to highlight, a lot of the January 6th failed insurrectionists were also military, ex military, or cops, like a high percentage. So, yeah, this totally makes sense. And it took a turn in the comments that I wasn't expecting. Y'all let me know what you think about this one. Like I always say with these Am I the A-hole threads, whenever a woman asks these questions, it's simply to get validation for feeling normal human emotion. Okay, so this woman says, am I the a-hole for telling my husband I'm not caring for his daughter anymore? My stepdaughter, Sally, is 17. Pretty crucial, and this is a pretty crucial year for her academically because the grades she will get will affect her next year when she's a senior. She's been wanting the new iPhone 15, and I told her if she upgrades her scores and gets at least 2 A+, we will buy her one. Her test results came around. She did not meet the criteria her father and I set in any way, and she ended up failing a subject. So I told her no phone until she makes up for what she failed and do better at the end of her year finals. She didn't like that. She wasn't getting her new phone now and hated that we had new criteria for her until finals and began to be mouthy. I told her the position we have is very firm. Nothing will change until she does better. Sally's bio mom lives in another country and rarely gets involved with Sally. Occasional phone calls, and that's it. Sally called her mom crying that she wants the new phone. Her mother called me and I explained the situation, but she hung up without answering. 2 days after Sally came in, so excited that her mother had booked her the new phone and it will be shipped in 2 weeks. I asked my husband about it, and he said that he and her mother talked and decided to get her the phone now. I was shocked and I told him I thought we had an agreement, and he said yes, but her bio mom decided to get her the phone. So I was like, why did you agree? He had no justification answer. Then he told me that I should stop interfering with Sally's business and that I'm never being her mother. I was honestly shocked at I was honestly as shocked of what he said because if I shouldn't interfere, why do I cook for Sally, drive her to practices, take care of her room and clothes, take her on dates, buy her stuff with my own money, attend all of her important events, attend the parents' meeting at school every semester, and do everything her mother failed to do? After that, I told my husband, fine, I'm done. I'm not her mother, and will never get involved with her. She's nearly 18, so she will be on her own anyway. And if she needs a mother, she has her biological one. She could travel to her, or her mother could come to her too. Bam. Consequences of your actions. This woman basically said, I bet. If I am not the mother, I am not going to continue to perform all of these motherly duties. Sally, you and the biological mom can handle it. I am done. And I completely agree. She is not the a hole. I know that that is what most of the comments are going to say. She is not the a hole. I already know it. So you guys can go ahead and just weigh in now because we all know that she's not that a hole. Now, this comment is a long one. I'm going to do it because it's a good one. This person says, not the a hole. Hubby needs to take over 100%. All things. Sally, from now on, literally stand your ground. I wouldn't even put a plate on the table for her. She totally manipulated you and her father both to get her way. I would completely stop all personal efforts that benefit her. My stepson did this very thing at the exact same age over a car and a cell phone. We had the same parameters that he had to follow to get those things. Plus, he had to get a job and save up 6 months insurance before we would allow him to license. His bio took him down, bought him a car, and then asked me for 50% of the money for it. Yeah, I told her to pound sand. Our son got angry and proceeded to call me a gold digger for marrying his father. I literally made 30,000 a year or more. I mean, year more than him, and owned my own house before we bought our home together and we were married. I still own that house. Anyway, I stopped every single bit of care for him. No laundry, no meal cooking. I cooked the meals, just didn't set a plate for him, but he wasn't denied a meal. No longer bought any of his toiletries or clothes, refused to drive him to any of his events. His father worked longer hours and was also unable to do that. In his bio, lived in a different city. When the holidays came, I did zero shopping for him and left it up to my husband to do, which he didn't do up like I always had. He even forgot our son's birthday because he was used to me planning it and all. Anyway, our son went to college the next year, and by his second year, showed up at our home and spent quite some time apologizing for how he treated me growing up. Something clicked inside him, but we are now very, very close, and he has never disrespected me again. In fact, he has stood up for me in any little argument his dad and I have had when his bio tries to say something derogatory about me. He is now 27, and this year I received a handwritten note in my birthday card telling me how thankful he was for me in his life. Priceless. That is such a good story. A story with, I mean, it's ongoing because the person is 27, so still has a lot of life to live. But this is a good story for Reddit. This person says, this is the comment. Please, OP, completely stop being a parent. Stick to your guns. Even if your husband fights it, even if they beg and plead or apologize, stick with it. If they try to get you to start parenting again, it's just even more clear that they're using you to do the hard part of parenting so dad can just agree with bio mom and be the good parent in the house while you take the brute. Absolutely not. She's 17, almost 18. She can grow up and learn. If she wants to do the things her way, then she can also do everything her way. Don't even give advice. Just give her the first step. Like this commenter said, YouTube to learn everything. If she needs help, public transport, if she needs a ride, Google if she has questions. Absolutely. You do want to guide these people, you want to guide teens, but there has to be some distinction. If you can't parent, then why are you going to allow yourself to be used? Absolutely agree with this. This person says, I think this goes well beyond stopping parental activities. Personally, I think OP needs to remove her efforts from those two entirely. When OP married her husband, she did so with the full knowledge that she was becoming an instant parent too, especially considering that Sally's mom isn't able to be physically present, only emotionally. So now to be told I'm never being her mother would tell me that she's not even viewed as an equal in her husband's eyes. For me, that's a deal breaker. Yes, she might need to reevaluate her relationship with her husband. And that right there is where I'm going to stop this one. You guys go ahead. Let me know what you think. These family bonds, these mixed families are definitely a subject that gets broached because people do get remarried. People do marry after having kids. So this is something that does come up. Y'all let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So I saw this thread in the women's group, the 2X chromosomes women's group. She says, men scaring women with threats of loneliness is funny. She says, okay, So recently, I have been hearing about this lonely men pandemic or epidemic thing. Loneliness is a problem for everyone in today's world, but it's being discussed as mostly a men problem. Here's what I find absurd about it, though. Whenever a woman says something slightly feminist or just state that she isn't fine with being mistreated, thousands of men start telling her how she's going to die alone as a crazy cat lady. She's going to be miserable and alone when she's old. She's going to regret wasting her youthful years once she's 30 and no one will want her anymore, etc. And these same men turn around and complain about being lonely. It is weird to wish someone to suffer the way you are suffering right now. They are scaring women with the threats of loneliness in their future when they claim it to be a pandemic among men right now. They want women to be miserable and alone for having different opinions, but they also want sympathy from women and society because they are struggling with it. Absolutely. It is hilarious. And it's hilarious that so many women up and down and around social media are talking about the same thing because so many different cultures are saying the exact same thing. So many different women from different countries are saying the same thing. She says, I know men saying all that vile stuff and the men suffering from loneliness aren't all the same, but if we represent them with a Venn diagram, both circles would share a lot of common area. And I find it sad and hilarious at the same time. Same. Instead of just doing better and being better people, they project this vitriol towards us when they are the ones that are actually suffering from loneliness. When women do better with friendships and family relationships and all that. She says, I'm Indian, and this feminist being crazy cat lady stuff has made its way in our spaces too, even though having cats isn't that common here. I find it funny that they aren't even trying to come up with something new to fit our society. Also, my English isn't great, so I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Yes, we completely understood exactly what you're trying to say. And yes, that is so funny that they will not get a little creative and make the supposed insults match the society. So let's see what some of these comments say. This person says, my favorite response to this is, don't threaten me with a good time. They are just desperate to put women down in hopes that they will date them. This person says, that's the plan. When I closed on my house, my first thought was how many cats I could fit in it. I'm child free, happily single, and get to spoil my dog with her own room. It's a dream. This person says, haha, this is my exact response. I've gotten comments about being on the spinster highway by a guy who treats his wife like an effing bang maid and talks about nights away from her like he's on holiday. So many men are really indoctrinated with this idea that women who don't center their lives around men are worthless, but then turn around and treat the women in their lives that do center men like they're worthless. Like, just say you don't like women, bruh. This person says, cottage core, single cat lady has been an aspiration for years now. These guys are literally threatening women with their most cherished dreams. I'll end it with this screenshot. It's these foolish men mistreating us who are making us stomp on the accelerator down the spinster highway. I've never heard this term spinster highway, but now we need to like start to sprinkle it throughout videos and stuff. She says, I stopped listening to these men a long time ago. They make no sense. It's just annoying background noise like toddlers in a daycare. And then Steel Jasmine says, decentering men is such a fantastic movement. You don't worry so much about being just the right way, wearing just the right makeup, dressing just the right way. You may still do those things for yourself, but the pressure is off to care about what some man is going to think. And you can chase whatever career dream you want, have however many cats you want, decorate your house like you want, never feel pressure to let a man touch you when you're not in the mood. I'm so glad that younger generations have more of that from early on than my generation did. Absolutely. That is where I'm going to end it. These threats are not really hitting the way the men think that they are. It's just not hitting. And I get these comments all the time on my page simply because I show what women are going through. So men project onto me as if they know my life situation. It's hilarious. You guys, let me know what you think about this one. So this story is very important to talk about, especially with this whole PP bro phenomenon, even though this story is not exactly a PP bro phenomenon because she came here on her own volition, but she's still connected with somebody that is controlling and using manipulative and coercive techniques on her. So she says, my husband told me not giving BJs is a deal breaker. She says, so first off, I'm a foreigner in the USA and I came here for my graduate school. I met someone and we started dating. He was very sweet in the beginning and very kind to me. He was divorced from his first wife, no kids, apparently because she started sleeping around and cheating on him and wanted an open marriage. I was raised in a very conservative culture and stayed a virgin until marriage. When we met and started dating, this kind of became the foundation of our relationship because I was looking for someone who can wait until marriage. And my husband went through a cheating with his ex-wife. He thought I was the right woman with no body count and won't cheat on him in the future, because I was raised conservatively. Anyways, we got married within 7 or 8 months of dating, which was quick, but with our boundaries, it made sense. Since marriage, he has been torturing me over the fact that I won't give him BJs. He brings it up over every argument and tells me he will divorce me, etc. The problem is that because I was raised so conservatively, I don't have any experience and it's not even common in my country. And she says she finds it disgusting and nauseating. She continues with, yet he seems to be abusing and bullying me over that constantly. He tells me I'm worthless because I can't blow him. And she says, I also applied for my green card based on marriage to a U.S. citizen. I'm still waiting for it. And he tells me he will cancel it if I don't give him a BJ. I just don't know what to do. She says, I don't know what to do anymore. I didn't know BJs were a requirement to be married in America. What should I do? BJs are not a requirement. He is using manipulative and controlling tactics. She is basically stuck and he knows it. He is using that against her. He is using her green card status against her. And this is one of the downfalls, the pitfalls of dating one of these people who don't see women as human, that deserve to be able to live how they want. They see women as interchangeable bang maids, and that is exactly how he is treating this woman. She didn't get programmed correctly, so he's trying to rewrite her program. She was raised conservatively, and he liked that at first. He thought that that was going to work out in his favor. But then when she reacts and acts like a conservative woman who is a neophyte in this area, he's like glitching. Like, what is going on? Like, or he sees her as the glitch, like he has to reprogram her. And he's using these manipulative tactics. And obviously, this is not a good situation. Sweet Potato says, this is not an American thing. This is your husband is being a jerk thing. He thinks that he has you trapped in the marriage because you need a green card and thus can pressure you into doing acts that you don't want to do. Hold your ground. Don't do acts that you don't want to do. Begin to make your exit plan and get out of this abusive marriage. Honestly, that counsel right there is pretty much enough. We don't really need to belabor the point because most of the people are telling her that she needs to exit anyway. But I just want people to understand that these PP bros are kind of damaged like this. They think that they are getting someone that they are going to have access to as if they are programmable wives, that they could just do what they want to do. And they just want all of the control to be able to do what they want to with their bang maids. Y'all go ahead, weigh in on this one. This just needs to be talked about. We have to talk about this. And I really, really don't want women from other countries to come over here and get stuck with somebody that's going to want to manipulate a woman like this person is doing to this woman. Y'all let me know what you think. And please share this. Share this story. Let other women in other countries know what is going on.